I strongly believe that this is a game changer is often used word. But we saw another report this morning from Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine, which is saying that it could develop herd immunity, which I think is a very significant piece. And ultimately, remember, all this shutdown and disruption that we had is because of the COVID-19. Because prior to that, it was a roaring economy, low unemployment in the US. And then what happened? The central banks have printed tons and tons of money. I mean, the US balance sheet, Federal Reserve balance sheet has doubled. The ECB is doing the same, Bank of Japan is doing the same. And in the meantime, the inventory has completely been decimated. There is no inventory anywhere. There are very few inventory left. So when this restocking of inventory starts and these money come into real economy, you're going to have a massive growth. So I am a very strong believer that you'll have a big equity market, and I'm very positive on equities.
Isn't there a risk, though, Manish, as we look at this year, it's been bad news for the economies, but good news for the markets, as we've seen all this stimulus find its way into asset prices. If we go into next year and we get economies picking up, doesn't that mean that the capital is going to find its way into real economic activity rather than going into asset prices? Isn't there a risk here that actually we end up with good economies but bad markets?
I mean, that risk always remains. But Jeff, what we are seeing is that, I mean, as I wrote in my piece as well, that we have really not seen the same level of money printing in the past. It's pretty much like the fiscal policy and monetary policy has merged. And when these money go in, and this is what is happening, the market is right in what we are seeing in the equity rally prices that we have seen. If you look at the tech stocks, and a lot of criticism comes around tech stock, there are lots of businesses which had no plan of selling online. They had nothing to do with it. They're not going to go back to the same thing that they used to do. So I'm a great believer in what is happening in that. And second, the artificial constraint that we have around money supply, and we can have a separate debate some other time, I think is just has been decimated. So I'm not a believer in MMT, but I do believe that the money that has come in is going to stay, and that is going to stimulate growth, and that will find itself in real economy and then onto asset prices as well.
So the question then is which asset prices will rise the most in the early part of 2021. And as you know, there's been this desire to move back into value and cyclicals to take advantage of the economic activity. Which way do you go with this? Do you pursue the momentum that we've had through most of this year, or do you pursue the rotation?
So I would say that, a good quality tech stocks, I would still pursue the momentum, but the value trade is going to be the big trade. So when you have a cyclical growth story, then clearly, the value stocks, and I mentioned consumer. I mean, consumer stocks are the best ones to buy. I always keep mentioning consumer discretionary and staples in all my newsletter. These stocks, they do well. They also protect you from the downside if something happens. And if it was to fall 10, 20%, as you saw in the March, then clearly it has all recovered. Look at Disney, where Disney is trading today. I mean, how it has recovered. So, look at how the sentiments changed. In March this year, everyone was talking this is going to be 1929. And now we are talking this is going to be 1998. So it's very easy to get too pessimistic, which is what happened in March. And I wrote a piece at that time saying that on March 18, that this is the bottom from what I am seeing, the way fiscal authorities are going to react. And now suddenly we are talking about it's going to be a massive bubble. I mean, it could be a bubble. Let's see what happens. But from the signs I see, asset prices are going to go higher. You're going to have a good GDP growth story, and the vaccine is going to help, definitely.